This is the Google one-year overview reading for the year of 2024. It's currently November 14th, 2023, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Google at the time of this reading in the extended hours is $135.90. That's a USD. And the shuffle video we're about to play for you here in the corner was created on September 3rd, 2023 at 2:19 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for Google in 2024 is a notable rally. It is crossed, however, with a decline that'll stand out, at least one decline that'll stand out with through multiple support levels on a one-year chart scale. But for the most part, this should be a pretty bullish year. Behavior around the high is high, a notable move on a one-year chart to take us into the high. Behavior around the low is low. We'll do bumping along resistance sideways near the low, and the high and the low of the year are going to be within close time proximity to each other. So there's two ways that plays out. Either they're like within a couple weeks time of each other, or we go like straight from a high to a low, or like a low to a high without much like back and forth in between. That's another possibility, but it looks like the highs and the lows are probably within close time proximity to each other. So we're going to get into the chart behavior on a weekly basis. The way that you read one of these one-year charts, each card going across horizontally in these clusters of 4 cards, each card going across horizontally, it represents about 2 weeks of time, and these clusters of 4 cards each represents 1 month out of the year. The thing is not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 2 weeks of time, so you have to give it about plus or minus 2 weeks of time. The sequence of events is going to remain accurate. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the timing is a little bit off at one moment or another, and in cases like that, the sequence of events will still remain accurate. That's how you stay on track. But before we get into that chart behavior, as well as where the highs and the lows are and the best trades, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill and make the world a better place. My friends, if everybody that was in the stock market took their earnings, took some of their earnings and made sure that every time they profited, they put some of those earnings to goodwill, the world would be such a better place. So we can do some of that together, and the way that we do that is by following the rule of karma for the channel. It's the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for profit. You must follow this rule, or the universe will shut you off from the abundance flow through this channel. So you go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profit should be donated forward. For every profitable trade should be donated forward to one of these charities. Just click here on one of these links and donate. 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel at one of these links. If you're international, use Wise or YouTube as well works. Leaves you with 90% of the money, way more than a stockbroker would leave you with, and a stockbroker doesn't know jack. So make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you do that and you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel for being an angel investor. Let's get into it. All right, so we have in early January, we have a rally that is halted with a decline through a significant support level on a multi-day scale. There's a notable failure through multiple support levels to reach the low of January, and then late January, there's a lot of erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. We revisit a crest in the midst of that erratic behavior that was recently a past opportunity. It could be that it was an opportunity in 2023, or it could be an opportunity repeating itself in January. Hard to say, but the high, we'll do sideways rotation and we'll revisit an opportunity at a support level when we're rotating sideways near the high. And what I've seen on a lot of the readings for 2024 is a high and a low starting out the year within close time proximity to each other. You can see here with at the S&P, we've got a low, we've got a high, possibly another low. There's a lot of back and forth going on in a lot of the 2024 readings. My sense is that we have both a high and a low here in January, possibly twice for both of them, but what I'm seeing is at least one high and one low in January, February. So be very mindful of that. And we probably go from a low to a high, back to a low, back to a high. In early February, we're rallying pretty notably into a key, like the upper end of a range will be bound by that range in February's high, and we should decline pretty notably. All right, so this resistance level here is important. This will really stand out because this resistance level here, this is cross-reading congruency with the 10-year. There's an important resistance level here in late February, and I think we probably rally from a low around the end of January or on the cusp of January, February. We probably rally. We may then revisit the low and then revisit the high, and it's an important resistance that's highlighted near the high towards the end of the month there. Between late February and early March, we do 3 pokes through that resistance, followed by a sharp decline off of that 3rd poke, taking us down 2 and through support to meet a 2nd support, and then we do a U-shaped reversal below that support, come back and reuse it as support, creating a March trough. And it looks like we rally out of a mid-month trough, we rally back to a significant crest or peak in the end of March. We rally along diagonal trend line and then have a fast sudden move higher, taking us through that crest or peak, which will be the high for March. That fast sudden move higher, taking us to creating that crest or peak, will be the end of the rally along the diagonal trend line. We'll then break down through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. And as we enter into April, we'll be declining pretty notably into a trough. There'll be a key support level highlighted. It'll be important near the April low, and it'll be an important support level on a multi-year scale. And it looks like it's towards the end of April that it's really highlighted. There's a peak mid-month of April that we sell, like a near overbought peak that we sell off pretty notably. And the month of April's high should be mid-month, roughly. A lot of price change and our first like really significant trade opportunities. Well, that's not true. There's one here in February, but there's pretty significant trade opportunities here in April, May that I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. Guys, if you're interested in the paid version, it's really a great way to support the channel. The paid version also has additional information where we talk about which highs and lows are the highest highs and lowest lows. We also talk about price level information if we are able to extrapolate price level information. We talk about any trades from a multi-year standpoint that might be relevant. And really, if you're utilizing this information regularly, it's the right thing to do. Without people supporting the channel, wouldn't be able to put out this content. The way that you get the paid version, we definitely remember the names of everybody that does this. Go to SM Meta post under our services on our website, Tarot for Traders. traders. Scroll down to 1 year report, click here to order, select 2024, type in Google, add to cart, and boom. Really great way to give back to the channel and show some support and gratitude. Much appreciation to everybody that goes ahead and does that. All right, so there's an important support level there highlighted around the cusp of April, May, important on like a multi-year scale. So prominent low here, and then a prominent peak that forms in May, standing out in early May on a 1 year chart, followed by a lot of price change. There's a rally into that price level that increases with the momentum moving forward into that peak in early May. And a lot of volatility in early May. We also see a May low in early May, so both the high and low close to each other. Sideways rotation in late May, another trough around the cusp of May, June, and then a rally in June to meet a key resistance. There's another prominent peak that we rally into that prominent peak in mid-June, and then we decline from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. That decline increases with the momentum moving forward into early July. That decline offers a trade opportunity. I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. Out of the July low, big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance. Failed attempt to break through key resistance at the July high, followed by a decline through key support, and then we rotate sideways along support in the end of July. And that's also cross-threading congruency there. Sneak preview card from 2023 is the Prince of Discs, and we see it appear here. So this might have to do actually with something economic that probably going on here based on it being a significant, and we should have another big move to the upside to a peak or highest high here in August after we rally along the diagonal trend line, and then rotate sideways near the high with a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of that rotation and taking us to a high, followed by a notable decline standing out on a 1 year chart as we exit August. It's price swings near the August low. A lot of volatility in early September, an overbought peak that we sell off from at the September high, which may very well be the same price level that we had in August. Based on this cross-rating congruency here for the completion card, which is the 2024 card appearing here near a correlation to a high, where there's a pretty notable decline off of a high in the end of September. We revisit lows with a notable decline. We revisit lows in early October. Anyhow, there's a fast sudden move higher in late October. After we see that low, there's a fast sudden move higher in late October, taking us to a failed attempt to break through resistance in early November, where we most likely have another high. That failed attempt to break through that resistance is followed by a decline through key support, a U-shaped dip in November near the November low, and a lot of mixed behavior back and forth going on within a channel in late November. Some sideways behavior as we enter near the high as we enter into December, and it looks like there's a full retracement of the move higher in early December. There's a full retracement of that move as we move into late December. Sneak preview for 2025. Yeah, it looks like in the midst of a decline here, there's opportunity to open up a long position, but we'll talk about that in more detail when we get into the 2025 reading. And guys, that's Google for 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, don't forget to follow that rule of karma. It's super important. The universe is real serious about this information not being used only for personal gain. It must be used to help other people and make the world a better place. If you want to get wealthy while doing it, great, but you better make sure you follow that rule. The universe is going to shut you off. Blessings to all my angel investors for following through on that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.